Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. It has been a while, but I finally got these guys painted and then got tied up with some other hobby project stuff. But this was the original first model I got for the orcs, which was the war boss. I can't remember his name. It wasn't exactly what I thought he was from the combat cards, because his teeth are all in a straight line, whereas one of the combat cards was sort of slightly skew-if, which I never really liked, but thankfully this guy didn't. And it all turned out quite nicely. I thought I'd go for a different colour scheme because he was originally bright red in the combat card. I went with used the airbrush to get more of a dark, sort of almost terracotta kind of red, and then did a little bit of battle damage. I've never really done that before, using stippling with a sponge on the edges of his power armor plates. But I think he turned out quite nice. Got some nice little detailing in the power cables. And the sort of, I don't know whether they're the rubber sort of seal bits here, but I quite enjoyed him. And then I carried on with the next orc, which was the old Bad Moon's boss in Mega Armor. This was a model which I painted originally. My original one I had many years ago, which was just plain silver or metal with lots of little hits of colour, but mostly it was just all dry brushed gunmetal. So I went with the red power armor again, bits of battle damage, trying to do like a heat effect on the gun where it's been blasting away, and drilled down into the barrel to make it a little bit deeper, a bit more pronounced, so it does look more like an actual gun barrel, and tries to do some work on the lenses to make them look a little bit fancy. So that's that one. I think it turned out quite nicely. It definitely was a bit of a nostalgia hit and did remind me why I used to love orcs so much when I was younger as a teenager. And then obviously started reading a bit more about the lore and how orcs sort of populate a planet. And I think I found out the inspiration for what that came about, which was when an orc obviously dies, it releases spores, and those spores grow into other orcs. Well, as per the lore, that kind of happened in the last year, and it sort of snowballed from here. So the Orc project has kind of taken on a life of its own, and now I've got quite a few orcs to paint, all of them in varying states of painting, but I could go through and give you a few little highlights, and maybe do some more feature videos if people like this one as to what I've done. So, and that was the chair, not me. So I got some metal orc knobs, I thought they looked kind of fun, and did a bit of kit bashing, just found loads of bits on eBay, and just slapped them together as best I could. Then I saw the Mega Knob pack, absolutely fell in love with those. One of the best packs by far to get extra weapons and claws and stabby bits and spare heads to put on people, so got those. Then I got a big Ghazghkull metal here. I could have got the plastic new one, but I felt it just was a bit too big. But I could do a bit of a feature project or feature video on him. And from there, it just sort of snowballed. We got started kit bashing left, right and centre, and really got into why I love the orcs so much. Is because of the scope for conversions. Just simple head tweaks, alterations, can really change how a model looks, how it feels, the dynamic of it. I even started looking for some more rarer, older sort of pieces. You can sort of see the very first Ghazghkull model there, which I updated. And then we've got some Bad Moon Boss. We've got the original Zodgod Wart Snagger, so he's in there. We've got some grots with another custom super grot with a power claw. Then we've got some other parts here, so some more projects I was working on, which was the burners, and with the burners I then got some looters, so they're a bit further back. I started converting up some tank busters with converted knobs. We've got some boys, some converted commandos, so yeah, the Blood Axe commandos. And we've got some more knobs and some shooty boys, and the second iteration of Ghazghkull, which again I updated with some fresh weapons. We've got some original old metal Storm Boys, some of the next lot of metal and plastic Storm Boys, and then tried out a third party kit some bodies here. Another kit bashed war boss. So he stands in for Zogrog not Zogrog Wartsnacker, sorry. The Vulture Boys boss. I can't remember his name now, but he's got a rocket pack, but I made my own version here. And then I started getting into vehicles. So I thought, how are these guys going to get about? So we did a couple of kit bashes, taking some old Airfix kits and other model style kits and slapping bits on and adding things in. I found an old Warhammer article from White Dwarf, which had a pattern for making a Gobsmasher. So I did a bit of tweaking with that and added bits on and created my own custom tank with all these different parts. So I could do a little feature video on that one as well. Yeah, just really had a lot of fun with getting into bashing bits together. Then I've got a metal dreadnought there, so that's the middle one. And then with the old middle one, I had to get the old original with the little pilot poking out the top. We've got some more knobs with some custom weapons. So I showed like some bits how to do that. And there's a kit bash of 2 knobs kits. So it's the knob kits and the flash kits. So that worked out really nicely. So I'll go into that a little bit more detail. I rescued a Orc truck and then built myself a Grot mega tank. And then I got another work in progress of another rescue eBay and started doing some bits and bobs to that, making a custom turret and just altering things around, making it a bit more fancy. And with all that, I got inspired to really do a big project because all of this wasn't quite enough. I've started a sort of stomper style project, so waiting for those bits to arrive in the post and go through a bit more detail as to what's going on there. But that's going to be a big project with lots of little challenges that's going to come up. So look forward to sharing that with you if you're interested. Also, some other little tips and tricks I've found when dealing with orcs and how to sort of get the most out of your kits by using thermoplastic to make little moulds of interesting pieces, which you can then use in turn to really fill out any sort of tank or vehicle and orcify things. As you can see, this one's had quite an extensive amount of work done. I think it was originally only the chassis and the track. Well, the original chassis was on there, and then I've just added and tweaked and changed and found bits. And I could go through an eBay channel on that, just tips and tricks and for how to deal with making orcs a bit more unique and stand out a little bit more. So this is really the first video. The first one I did was a sampler. And this is how it's really sort of escalated from there. So hopefully I'll be doing more of a series of these. If there's a bit more interest, I can sort of, if you've got any recommendations or particular areas you want me to pay a bit more interest into or go into a bit more detail, anything you see, you think, oh, I'd like a closer look at that, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and like, because there's going to be quite a few more of these. So take care, see you later on, and don't forget to drill your barrels.